You're listening to Embrace Your Snake, the #1 podcast for creatives and entrepreneurs that have big ideas and just need a little help to get them out into the world. I'm your host, Michael Jackson, and today we're talking about failure, or as I like to think about it, the mother of all success. Let's see what we've got. It's really hard for me to look at things as failures. To me, the word failure, I can't say it doesn't exist because it just came out of my mouth, but the whole practice of looking at something as a failure and saying, oh my gosh, I'm the worst in the world, is something that I just can't take into my soul. I look at everything as a learning experience, whether it's, being fired from a job, or whether it's starting a business that doesn't do as well as you want it to, or starting a new project and it turns into something different than you wanted it to. I never look at it as, oh my God, that was a complete failure. I look at it as something where I learned either how not to do something, or I morphed it into something that's better than what it was before. If you listen to my very first podcast way back, whenever that was, I did a epiphany story about what caused me to get to the point where I was in my life. And one of the things that I talked about was the karaoke cult. I started doing karaoke. Well, actually, I didn't start doing karaoke. I was kind of pushed into karaoke. But the story goes something like this. My friends and I used to go out to karaoke bars, and they would all sing, and my other friend, Todd, and I would go over and play pool while everybody else was singing. I just didn't want to sing. I didn't feel that I was good enough to sing. Eventually, I was asked to host karaoke one night because the regular hostess wasn't there, and I was available and I wasn't going to sing, and there was no reason for me not to. So I got on stage and I learned how to run the machine and did it for that night. The owner of the bar asked me if I'd do it again, and I think it was actually, we did it on weekends. I did it like on Saturdays during the day because everyone lived in the neighborhood, and I was there and everyone else was there, and I played some karaoke. Eventually, that turned into kind of a regular gig at a new bar, and from there, it turned into the karaoke cult. Now, the thing about karaoke cult was not so much that it was about karaoke for me. And I will tell you this, the biggest problem for me with karaoke was I couldn't keep the slips in order. People would give me their songs they wanted to sing, and I couldn't keep them in the order. Now, of course, nowadays you don't have to worry about that. It's all on the computer. It's all MP3s. You can do everything on your laptop. Now you got to do is hook up speakers and bam, you're working. When I was doing it back in the dark ages, you actually had to have things written on paper. And then you had the people turned in paper slips, and I would put them in an order. I couldn't keep the slips in order, and it was tragic. Now you got to think, well, Michael, how hard can it possibly be to keep the slips in order? I don't know. For me, it was completely difficult. I'd lay them out on the table, and somehow they'd get mixed up, or my fan would blow them around, or somebody's handwriting wasn't good, and I'd take the slip out, and I couldn't remember. I'm looking at it, and I want to put it back where it went, and I couldn't get it in the right place. So instead of doing all that, what I decided to do was just ask people, kind of at the beginning of the night, what kind of songs they wanted to sing. So I would collect all the slips, and I'd look at them, and I'd think, oh my gosh, here we've got a hip hop crowd, and all these songs are hip hop, or all these songs are 80s rock. So tonight, you know what? I'm just going to play 80s rock, and I'll look at these slips, and it looks like John wants to sing some Poison, and somebody else wants to sing some Ozzy Osbourne, and somebody else wants to sing some Bon Jovi, and I'd put the song on, and if it was John's turn to sing, I would say, John, coming up here. But if John wasn't around, he's in the bathroom, he's wherever, I would start that song playing. I'd start up, Living on a Prayer. Dun, 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 dun. And the music would build and build and build. And pretty soon you hear those drums come in. And I'd go, somebody come up here and sing this song. And I would have 15 people run up to the stage, and they'd all be singing Living on a Prayer. And you know what? If John came up and wanted to sing it, I'd hand him my microphone, and John, just sing it. And if John wasn't happy, I'm saying, John, you're next. Just sing the next song. And what I did is I took karaoke, because I couldn't do the karaoke the normal way, and I'd turn it into a dance party and just call people up if they asked to come up, I'd put them on next. If they had a song in and someone else was singing it, I'd let everyone sing together. and it turned into a giant party. So most people would say, yeah, I failed as a karaoke host, but kind of built the biggest karaoke following in Chicago. So that was taking a failure and morphing it into something that actually worked for me. I also had besides not being able to keep my slips for the karaoke in order, I also wouldn't ever remember to take business cards with me, which I still forget to do. And I decided to take a piece of software that I had found. Um, I was at where the Professional Photographers Association, PPA, and of America, Professional Photographers of America, and I was at one of their conferences one year, and I saw a piece of software there that was really just a way to build mini websites. And I looked at that software and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. And I took that piece of software and never ever used it as a mini website. But what I did is I created a business card for myself and said, you know what? It's not a mini website now. That mini website I'm going to call Mobofolio for mobile portfolio. And I took all my photography and put into this little thing. I put this little mini website. I put my bio on the front page. I put a picture there. I made it so you could share it. We did a little bit of modification of the software. And I took this thing that was supposed to be a mini website and turned it to an electronic business card. And we started getting customers for this thing. So I took my failure, quote unquote, of being able to remember business cards and turned it into a profitable business called Mobifolio. So you say, well, Michael, where's Mobifolio now? Can I buy it? And the answer is no. I shut down Mobifolio, and from all the experience that I got from Mobifolio, I learned how to do websites. I learned how to build websites. I learned about social media. I learned about marketing. I learned about all these other things. But because of the failure of Mobifolio, I had all this extra knowledge that I turned into my next project. So what I'm saying is take your supposed failures, learn from them, morph them into something new, and become even more powerful. That's what I've done, and that's what I'm hoping that you'll do. Don't look at the word failure as a bad thing. Look at failure as a learning experience that you can turn into your next big project. So stop looking at things like they're failures. They're learning experiences. They are things where you have found out how not to do one thing, but you've morphed it into something else. And that is one of the best things that can ever happen in your life, because you build yourself and you build those around you by taking what others might see as a negative, turning it into a positive. It's that whole lemons into lemonade thing. Do that as much as you can. I'm Michael Jackson. Peace.